Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm reviewing a second pen from a brand I only recently reviewed for the first time, and that is Vazir. Vazir is an Indian-based company and they make these rather beautiful fountain pens, and the pen I reviewed previously was the Paradox, which has a really unique body shape. And what I'm looking at today is the round top in Sport Green. This is a fairly standard shape pen. It's a large pen, but it's got some really lovely features. So I'm going to talk about the parts and features of this pen. We'll do a writing sample and then talk about some pros and cons. Before we talk about the pen, this is how it comes packaged in this nice sort of faux leather box. You take the lid off and there's like a little certificate of authenticity or whatever, and the pen comes in a little pen sleeve. So it's very nice. It's beautifully presented, and I really like what this brand does. Okay, parts and features. Top of the pen, very nicely polished dome. There's a little split where the end comes off, and that's where the clip is attached in, and there's a very flexible clip. The cap swells and then continues along. There's a little step down off the cap onto the barrel, which continues along for about, an inch and a half, say, and then tapers to the end of the pen. We get a little blind engraved there of Vazir on the barrel, and that's about it. Nice polished domed end. The cap screws off in about 2.5 turns and reveals a small but not particularly noticeable step down onto some nice threads, and a nice size like hourglass shape grip section, and then this number 6 Yovo steel nib and plastic feed. I love the fact that the nib has this chest piece, which is the logo. It makes a really interesting looking nib, and I think the black trim with the black clip there, very, very nice. It is a cartridge converter pen, and the barrel screws off very nicely, revealing a nice Schmidt converter there. And so, you've got a Schmidt converter through to a Yovo nib and feed. It's all very, very nice. It's well made. It's got some nice size to it, and it's not super, super light. It's very, very comfortable in the hand. The pen does post, and it posts quite securely, not super deeply, but it makes a very, very long pen. This is a large pen. Like, it is not a small pen. You'll see it in the size comparison. This has got a good amount of size to it. So you don't really need to post it, but if you, for some reason, wanted to, you definitely can. Okay, time for that size comparison now, and you've got the Vazir round top in the Sport Green next to the Lamy Safari. You see it is a large pen, good length, good girth. Uncapped, it's still considerably longer there than the Lamy Safari. In fact, if you line up the ends of the sections, with the nib line, it is the same length roughly as the Lamy Safari, but with that full size number 6 size nib. And then posted, you'd see that it is a long pen. This is a big pen when it's posted. You really don't need to post it, in my personal opinion. Unless you've got massive hands or you particularly like that size, you definitely don't need to. What are the dimensions of the Vazir round top? Well, it is 158 millimeters when it is capped. That's long. It's 137 when it is uncapped, so it is a good size. And then it's 186 when it is posted. Very, very long. Middle of the section there, at the middle of the taper, is just over 11 millimeters. So not small. And the widest point around the cap is about 16.5 millimeters. So it is a big pen. 30 grams in total, 19 in the body, 11 in the cap. So the balance when you post it is okay. Like, it's not particularly back heavy. It's just very long. I think this is a nicely balanced pen when it is unposted. And it feels very good in the hand because it does have quite a lot of girth as well. Okay, let's do a writing sample now with the Vazir round top in Sport Green. This is a steel medium nib made by Yovo. And you can get the pen in a number of different nib sizes from Vazir, as well as different versions of the round top pen, some more expensive, depending on the material and that kind of stuff. Okay, let's do this writing. Oh, I should say the ink here is Octopus Fluids. Jade. This is from the Baroque line of inks. This is a really interesting green with just like a hint of sort of tealy blue in it, which is beautiful. I think Jade is a great name for it. Okay, writing sample. Okay, I'm not sure if you've picked it up yet, but this nib kind of sings, which is nice for me as a singer. Just occasionally, it just sings a little bit, and it's quite a nice nib. There's a bit of feedback on it, but it's, you know, it does sort of sing. It's smooth, a little bit of feedback. You will have noticed there were a couple of little spots where it did hard start ever so slightly. This is something I have noticed very occasionally with this nib. It'll be an easy thing to fix. I just, I review the nibs as they come. Quick writing. Tiny skip there. And this is the kind of spot time you notice, you know, so you get some little skips and things. I think it's just a slightly over smoothed nib, like a little bit of a baby's bottom perhaps. It's as I said, it's a very easy fix. A few loops and eights on some micro mesh, that kind of stuff. This nib is going to be spectacular because it writes, you know, as I said, it's not, I don't think it's a particularly kind of wet writer, but it writes generously. Reverse writing is scratchy and very, very fine. It is not a flex nib. These Yovo nibs are not flex nibs, so it's not really what this does, but it does write well. And this is not the super wettest ink either. So with a wetter ink and a little bit of polishing, this is going to be an absolutely spectacular writer. Okay, price. Now, this particular one, I couldn't find the price of this exact version in the sport green on the website today when I looked. But there are similar versions of the pen for around the $50 and up. So if this is a pen model you are interested in, I really suggest you head to Vazir, to their website, which I'll link to down below, and check out what is on offer and see if any of the materials jump out at you. I quite like this green. I don't have a whole lot of bright green pens in my collection. In fact, I don't have a bunch of bright colored pens in my collection. So this is a unique one for me. So pros and cons. The only real con I have is that skipping on the nib. And as I said, that is a super easy fix. You know, a few loops and stuff on some micro mesh, just smooth it, just like even that out. It's going to write absolutely spectacularly. The pros. Okay, it is a smooth writer. When it's writing, it writes beautifully. A little bit of feedback, but absolutely lovely. I really like the design of the nib. I think that's cute. And I think the black nib tied in with the black trim is a great design element from Vazir. I also really like the shape of the pen. I think that it sort of has this typical shape I associate a little bit with Indian-made fountain pens, as well as some vintage and even Namiki and things like that. So there are familiar elements that make this a very attractive pen. The balance of the pen in the hand is really nice. I've really enjoyed the actual physical writing with this pen. The shape of that section and, you know, the size in the hand and where the weight sits is absolutely spot on. I think the finishing of this pen, the uniform color with that great accent color as well, The finishing is all really nice. It's beautifully polished. Like, that join there is quite seamless. Like, you do not notice it until you look for it. And the little blind engraving there is a nice touch that just gives the name of the brand without it actually being really super visible. But I think one of the things I love most about this pen is the size of the pen. It is a larger pen. Like, it's not enormous. Not like some of those pens that, SBRE Brown shows and things like that. But this is the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande alongside the Vazir. Now, the Momento Zero Grande is vaguely somewhere in the ballpark of the Montblanc 149. And the Vazir is bigger. So that just puts it into some context. So this was my review of the Vazir round top in Sport Green, a fountain pen that I think is incredibly good value at the price, and really well made, and with a tiny bit of tuning on that nib, it's going to be a really great writer. So big thank you to Vazir for sending this and the Paradox pen out for review. I couldn't make these videos without the support of brands and manufacturers like Vazir, and I also couldn't make it without the support of you guys, my viewers. So please like and subscribe, hit the notifications button, all that stuff. It all does great things for the algorithm and helping me continue to grow my channel. If you'd like to support the channel in any way, I would love to hear from you. As I said, it's your support that makes these videos possible. So enjoy your pens, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you soon.